we going to see another housing crash?
Yeah.
Are we in another bubble?
Sure.
I know we've talked about this before, but I've had multiple conversations seemingly in like the past week, 2 weeks, with people who are just like, yeah, it's gonna crash, blah, 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 blah. You know, fear, panic, everyone panic.
Media.
It's fine.
Right.
Everything's fine.
Right.
That's my saying that comes out of my mouth probably multiple times a day. But why isn't it going to crash? Well, a few things. Let's compare to 2008. We had a lot of inventory on the market. Right now, what are you seeing all over the news? Housing shortage.
Yeah, low inventory.
Shortage. We would love inventory. We are fighting tooth and nail for inventory. So, back then when we had the foreclosures just flood the market, there was already a ton to choose from. So now you're making a bad market, well, not necessarily bad for buyers, but bad for sellers. Even worse because now there's way more that they can choose from. So now if we had more inventory come on, that actually might get us to almost sort of still not really a balanced market. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about how it's balancing out. Well, yes and no. We're still far, far, far from a balanced market.
Agreed.
I'll use an analogy that our regional used a few months ago. We were going at like 100 miles per hour.
Maybe 120.
Yeah.
In an unhealthy range.
And now we're maybe going like 15 miles per hour, maybe 20, probably 30 miles per hour over the speed limit still.
Right.
So we've got a long way to go before we're actually going to see a balanced market. So that, along with, God, what are some other
the main thing is,
you.
I wish you had a mirror. I wish you had a
You.
mirror. So basically, if I have a mirror,
It's your fault.
and I can fog up that mirror, I could get a loan in 08 without any documentation.
Yeah.
And as people that are buying now are painfully aware, it takes a lot to get a mortgage, right?
Yeah. It's
And
usually the biggest pain point.
It is, for sure. It's a lot of documentation.
Usually
but,
your firstborn child
right,
as well.
Yeah, a little blood sample of some sort is fine. No big deal. But you know what? At the end of the day, an investor out there, a lender, is borrowing someone $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. They should require some documentation. You know? Can it get a little annoying at times? Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure. But
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I would be the first to admit it, right?
Yeah.
But there's a reason for that, right? And and there's a reason that we had a crash because literally we did not have to collect anything. I mean, somebody could come into my office and we would be closing a couple weeks later, and I really haven't collected anything.
Yeah.
That's not how it should go either, right?
Gosh, what a terrible job.
Yeah. So
well, now it is.
Yeah, right.
In my opinion.
Yeah. But I mean, you go from basically no lending laws to every law in the book.
Everything
now
is so regulated.
Right. But it should be, you know, and the people that are getting into loans are qualified and they deserve to get into these loans. You know, we couldn't always say that back in that crash period, you know. So I think lending was the defining thing of the crash, in my opinion.
And also, equity standpoint.
Yeah.
Everyone was treating their equity like an ATM.
ATM.
And, hey, I want a boat. Let's go buy one with the equity we have in our house. Oh, and I'd also like a Maserati and a second home.
Right.
Maybe a vacation rental. Let's just tap into our home's equity.
Well, and if you think even to that time too, like the interest-only payment was a craze. So you could do an interest-only mortgage, which means Yeah. And then to your point, if they had a bunch of equity, or not only that, but they would just say, okay, well, I've got such a low mortgage payment, I'm going to go get a boat. I'm going to go buy a brand new car, you know? So now you got someone sitting there with a boat and a brand new boat and a brand new car and a new house that they're not paying any principal on.
Yeah.
It's just like, wow.
It blows my mind.
What do you think is going to happen here eventually?
Who in their right mind would have thought that that was a smart idea?
I wouldn't call that sustainable.
No.
Yeah. So.
No. So lots of factors. A lot of that stuff has been taken care of. And quite honestly, I know looking around at prices, everything just seems inflated. But from everything I've heard from the higher ups and everyone is saying that the Twin Cities market actually does have a lot of room to grow still.
Yeah.
Now we're growing at probably a healthier pace.
Well, and I think to your point too about foreclosures back then too is that, to your point on equity now, people do have equity right now.
Right.
So if there was some sort of issue with job or whatever, there might be some time to sell, just do a straight up sale, not foreclose on it. You know, there's just a lot more equity out there. So there's so many factors that go into a crash, and all of those were hitting at the same time, and that 07, 08, 09 time frame. So we're just not there.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So to ease your mind, we can't guarantee it.
Exactly.
But all signs point to no crash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But tune into our podcast exclusive to hear a little bit more about the market.
Deep dive.
And what rising interest rates could mean for you and your budget.
Interesting.
Gosh, I think that's the first time we've ever teased the
like the
podcast.
tease.
I
Well
do
played.
too.
Well played.
It's probably already out by the time this video airs, but you know what?
Hey.
We're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
So,
Work in progress.
exactly. Thank you for watching and stay caffeinated.